Living in Ghana, abroad, a first-timer visiting Ghana, or a company wondering where to get quality service providers in Ghana for any job, then Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa On Demand Services connect requesters and service providers such as masons, plumbers, electricians, auto repairers, home and office cleaners, trash collectors, rent agents, spa attendants, roofers, beauticians, teachers, CCTV installers, and all artisans on one platform. Yes, one platform. Trust Ejumapa On Demand Services to sort you out any day, anywhere, and at any time. To download the app, please visit the App Store and Play Store or visit our website www.ejumapa.com.
What I like the most about Carline Auto Parts is that they don't just sell you an oil. They take their time to educate you on exactly what your car needs. And luckily, they told me about this amazing product for my car's transmission. Booster is the best transmission oil that you can find on the market, and take it from me. If you've ever had a transmission problem, you know exactly what it means to be in those shoes. So get the best product and save yourself the trouble. Call Carline Auto Parts here at East Legon. Call them at Dacoman, and bro, get yours. My sister, get yours. Don't waste time.
Carline Auto Parts, your car solution.
Right, they must have for Mama Kwaba SBTV Africa, so the voice of the community. If I'm DJ Nyame Safino in your boy channel, so I'm Mama Kwaba. Making sure so like your page, share, tap on the subscribe. Now I'm joining SBTV Africa family. Bet me so do I drink chiraba. We a live program I will share. Friday. Thank God it's Friday, 5:30 abo GMT. Na 5:30 bobia na 5:30 to 7. A minute lawyer wisdom Akaho. Wiseman solicitors straight from London, UK. In Baba Jukin Komo, na Phyllis APP in some Sony ade and none ever discuss. Now, a very important more Mopesamoko UK and more UK, and I think our plan is only a Beko and Beko and program be a Sautie, a Biabu Untie News, Unim Nieko, Unim Fella, by Lawyer Wisdom Akao, Wiseman solicitors, Bema grounds in and Wabia Pebia, so questions be up as Obisan Bia, so a chair wide so be a so bit me the our comment section, wait me a type your live our Facebook SBTV Africa, and I say our live or YouTube channel SBTV Africa, the voice of the community. It's me straight Lawyer Wisdom Akao. I already there on standby, and then all day brain. Mama say previous ones in your YouTube channel, also and I'll call SBTV page, and I call live. We go live. I'm in Aye or no Aisha Germany Schengen home come live. I'm in my and Lawyer Wisdom Akaho Wiseman solicitor. Lawyer
DJ
Akwaba.
Would you also exercise?
Nyame adome o ye na also e.
I don't be boko. You looking
Me won say Saman from an fa ho pa body ni nyina start here fresh. Me won say nam no start ba.
You say with you na.
Me wa say the Saman e wo de da o Saman de wo ye do ready season kwa so no cry ate and shut down to be asa.
24/7
eh
24/7 summer.
Oh, lawyer. And I must say that you see UK for them the entiasio. You see I must say them you.
Yeah, so when you say yeah, Abrofonte. Near penny.
See I must say them must my banning then you see. Switching. You say near the
switching, and they per kasa about switching. I say students now. Anyway, it's phone in Ethiopia. It's the last week. I'm on the 2 weeks ago or so, or let me say a few weeks back. Government needed to just say, actually on the 23rd of May 2023, and I'm going to buy from observation. Among students be braced, bar, and now students beat bar, enco union. Now, I want to switch it. I call work route. Now, what happens? They say universities know the students now your budget. I'm going to say students 500 na ebeba. I'm going to amount how much if student be a home. and he said student 500 now. As I said, Omubano, do we not say 100 Amber school now? It means that the university is losing that amount of money that they had budgeted for in their annual financial budget, kind of thing. And Tiamo who said, student bebree some ba normally China for any Korea for any Japanese India, school, no problems. But particularly, young IFE Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, and some other parts of Africa, so you do have a big co school, majority co school, but a big co school. Santi, Omudi, law number 2 said, so we are students. Now, in fact, it was announced on the 23rd of May, said they were going to ban students from switching from one category to another. Normally, in themselves, Omudi, sir, announcements, Niba. Now they take it to parliament. It takes 21 days, and sana it comes or it takes effect. But we know, Omo Manendi 21 days no. Omudi changes no to parliament on the 17th of July. 17th now, that is 4 days or so ago. Omudi go to her immediately. Almost take effect. Instead of the 21 days and normally yebenya na the advice your client say munye we ma munye ni say and munye ni terminal almost say to prevent a huge number of applications taking place within that short time and then say omudi effective date now are immediate and unfortunately near 18 is students are ewo krom ha. So what do Chrome ha? Now we are students. Now ABA, Bibinti, Sikasamunti went to me uncle school. No. Now we are one being set over switch from the student route, ACO, work route no so health and care, and now any other skilled route no so particularly the health and care, which is a sector that they need a lot of people. So we are one being over switch here. Home office for say effective 17th of July from 3 p.m. 3 p.m. 17th of July 2023, no students can switch again to the work route. But bear in mind, sir, almost work route. Almost partner or parent, and that is where we have to pay attention. Almost work route, work routes in this statement. So we are students, you cannot go, you haven't been to school or you couldn't continue and you wanted to switch. The ban is that you cannot switch anymore until you finish your course. And that became effective on the 17th of July 2023. So that is what it is. That was in the HC 1496R on what you call Parliament on the 17th of July. Like I said, normally you will have 21 days, but within that 21 days, a lot of people make applications. But the Home Office, as who said, they don't want that sort of thing. They don't want a huge number of applicants coming within that 21 days. Until effective date was the 17th of July 2023. So students cannot switch to the work route, cannot switch to health and care, or cannot switch to any other skilled labor route. And so that is what we have to take note of. That is that. The next thing is that they have added that students may be able to switch if you have an employment, but the starting date of the employment is after you finish your course. And assuming that we as graduate students, now you want to work with a company or as a healthcare worker, and the employer has put on the start date of your employment letter or contract as maybe the 30th of September. 30th of September. Meanwhile, you are finishing your course on the 1st of October, you cannot switch. You cannot do that. But if the start date of the employment is in October and you are finishing your course in September, then that is okay. So you can work. The start date must be after you have finished your course, not before you finish your course. So that is what it is. Also, the other thing is that when you look at section or paragraph 6.6 of the Statement of Changes 1496, it says students who are already in the UK, students cannot bring their dependents. But what they have come to say now is students who are already in the UK, who are graduate students, they can still bring their dependents. But students who are going to start from January 2024, they cannot bring their students unless they are postgraduate students or they are doing courses that are related to research. Courses that are related to research. If it is international students who are designated or who are currently on designated research programs, they are able to bring their partners. Currently, you can bring your partners. So on graduate courses currently designated and research, you are still able to bring your partners. But from January 2024, you are not able to bring your partners if you are on the undergrad or graduate students. But if it is postgraduate and it is only research program, then you will be able to bring your partner or your dependents to the UK. So that is also another change that they brought into effect. So all in all, the Home Office just wants to restrict the number of students that are switching from one category to another. So that is what it is. Those in the UK already can still bring their dependents, but those who will come from January 2024 cannot bring their dependents unless it's a postgraduate course and it is a research program or PhD and above. They can still bring their dependents to the UK. So that is what I want us all to be aware of. So, DJ, that is that. And also, interestingly, we mentioned that the Home Office had considered, upon the advice of MAC, Migration and Advisory Committee, advising the government on jobs that should be added to the shortage occupation list. Now, Obiwa Bisasa, what is the shortage occupation list? What it is that also in the UK, they have different categories of work. We have the healthcare sector, we have the IT sector, we have the education sector, we have the medical sector, we have hoteliers, we have the hospitality industry, we have horticulture, that is agriculture, we have the different sectors in the UK. Sometimes there are shortages in some departments or some sections. So EBASA, the Migration Advisory Committee, is able to advise the Home Office that there is shortage of people in the, let's say, the construction industry or in the healthcare sector or in the, let's say, agriculture sector. Because of that, can you open or give the option for the government to recruit people to come to the UK to work in those sectors? Now, if that happens, then people are able to apply to come to the UK to work in the UK. And now, healthcare fund, a lot of people have come to the UK to work as healthcare workers. And also, teachers also have the opportunity to come to teach in the UK. But of course, it's science, I think it's maths and science related subjects or so. And of course, it's also up to a certain level. Not just every teacher can come and teach in the UK. And of course, even if you want to come, you need an employer, you need a sponsor to come to sponsor you to come to the UK. And Amodi construction industry workers in Su Edibaka. And say no, Omukaye, but say no, Omudi account list no. So I'm going to go through the list of Omudi account, the shortage occupation list, no, so appendix shortage occupation list, appendix shortage occupation list. So UTM na ABA when employer be our register with the Home Office our sponsorship license. Now you fall within this category, then you can apply to the employer, not to me or to any other lawyer, but to the employer. And if they assess you and they deem you as fit for the job and they give you the employment, then you are able to come to the UK to work in that category. So the table is as follows. We have Appendix SOL, APPSOL, the table 1. The code is 5119, agriculture and fishing trades, not elsewhere classified. Only jobs in the fishing industry. So if you are working in the fishing industry in your country, fishing industry in your country, and you can get a sponsor who has a sponsorship license with the Home Office to sponsor you, then you can come and work here in the UK in the fishing industry. They have been approved to employ people to come to the UK fishing industry. Also, we have the code is 5312. The code is 5312. And this is for bricklayers and masons. Bricklayers and masons. And the honor almost say all jobs. All jobs. Remember, sir, with the agriculture sector, it is only the fishing industry. But when it comes to bricklayers and masons, all jobs. Every job you know, as a mason, as a tiler, as a construction worker, as a joint, what do you call it, joint and painter or something, as long as you have that qualification and you can prove it and you can get the license from the sponsor, you can apply to come to the UK to work here in that sector. So we have bricklayers, and masons, all jobs. The net code is 5313. So if you go online and check for that code, the Home Office code for the shortage occupation worker in this sector, we have 5313, and the code is roofers, roof tilers, and slaters. Those who have been roofing the building, those who have been laying tiles, and those who have been putting slates on the roof. So roofers, roof tilers, and slaters, they have also been added to the shortage occupation list. So again, if you know an employer that is registered with the Home Office and they have the sponsorship license, then of course you can apply for a job with them and come to the UK to work as a roofer, as a roof tiler, and as a slater. All jobs. The next one is the code is 5315. Shortage occupation list code number 5315. This is for carpenters and joiners. Carpenters and joiners. And say, so we are carpenter ni, ewo baby, ewo Ghana, ewo Krabiasi, ewo Krobisu. Wonim edwuma pa na nso bibi nti wontimi nkɔ w'anim na sɛ wobɛnya employer wo krom ha ɔwɔ sponsorship license me nim wɔm na nso sɛ wote mehwehwɛ bi ana woma w'abusuani bi ɛboa na ɔnyɛ bi a na ɔba krom ha ana na ɔwɔ krom ha na wotumi ayɛ application na wahwɛ w'asetena mu wahwɛ wo qualification na ɔse bra bɛyɛ adwuma a woyɛ visa no a ɛsɛ sɛ ɔmode ma wo na ɛba kurom ha na ɛba bɛyɛ adwuma obi si ɛneɛ ɔmode yɛ adwumayɛfoɔ nyinaa ɛbɛfi Ghana ɛde aba UK. Well, maybe that is what it is, but maybe that is what it may not be, because sɛ nipa ne ɛnyɛ adwuma ɛwɔ kuro no a ɔwɔ so no a, of course sɛ ɔnyɛ adwuma wɔ kuro foforɔ so a ɔbɛkɔ akɔyɛ adwuma. Nti carpenters and joiners, and also obviously all jobs, not just some jobs, but all jobs, because there's a huge shortage in the construction industry. Because of that, there's a huge demand for carpenters and joiners. Then the next one is 5319. That is the code. Construction and building trades, not elsewhere classified. All jobs. So you may be working in the construction industry. You may not necessarily be a carpenter or a bricklayer or a mason, but you have a specialist skill in a certain aspect of the construction industry. Almost all jobs. This is very good for young technical school. No? Technical school. This is very good area for them. So this is the area for the technical students. There's techs and then the tech students in Ghana who have finished and they are working in certain aspects or certain areas. This is jobs for you. The code is 5319, and that is for construction and building trades, not elsewhere classified. Yes. The other one is plasterers. We are plastering on the building in Ghana. You know, people who do plastering and things, or they call them dry liners. In the UK, in Ghana, we call them plasterers. If you are a plasterer, you know how to plaster a building and plaster it very well, then the Home Office says, the UK government says, you can come and work in the UK as a plasterer. But remember, you need an employer to apply for that certificate for you, the sponsorship certificate for you to come and work in the UK. If you are a plasterer, you can come and work in the UK. Then the last one is fishing and other elementary agriculture occupations not elsewhere classified. Only deckhands on large fishing vessels 9 meters and above, where the job requires the worker to have at least 3 years full-time experience in using their skills. This experience must not have been gained through working illegally. Now, so they are talking about people who are working on shipping vessels. If you are working on fishing and other elementary agriculture occupations not classified elsewhere, only deckhands on large fishing vessels. So if you are a deckhand on a large fishing vessel, a deckhand on large fishing vessel, and it is 9 meters and above, where job requires the worker to have at least 3 years full-time experience in using their skills. If you happen to be in that category, deckhands on deck, on the ship, on the fishing vessel, if that is what it is, the Home Office says you can also apply to stay in the UK, to come and work in the UK. But usually, you should make that application from outside before you come to the UK, because the sponsor will have to issue the sponsorship certificate for you to apply for your visa, and then you come to the UK to work in that category. So these are the categories of workers that have been added to the shortage occupation list. Agriculture, let me just go over quickly. Agriculture and fishing traders that have not been classified elsewhere. Bricklayers and masons, all jobs. Roofers, roof tilers and slaters, all jobs. You can also come to the UK and work. Construction and building trades, not elsewhere classified, all jobs. That is it. Plasterers, those who have been plastering the buildings in Ghana, the, the Home Office says, "Unsu wetumi aba abaye adwuma." And then plasterers must also be able to come to work in the UK, provided you have a construction employer who has a sponsorship license. Then you'll be able to come to work in the UK. And then we have the fishing and other elementary agriculture occupations which have not been classified elsewhere. Also, you are able to come to work in the UK. So, DJ, very, very interesting, very interesting developments. Students have been banned in some sections from switching. Students can bring their partners up until to January next year. From January next year, you can't unless you are on a graduate scheme visa, postgraduate, not graduate, but postgraduate, and it is research classified. Then you can graduate, postgraduate, and above research classified, you can bring your partners. But from January 2024, only postgraduates and above, master's degree and above, can bring their partners to the UK. So that is where we stand now. And of course, they've added these people to the list now as we speak. So, DJ, this is the updates. I have another topic to talk about, but for now, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to address those questions. DJ, thank you. All right. I think I will go on. I will go on.
Lawyer.
Yeah.
Me who say na me jaw mo we flow kakra na manfo so form questions sembra. It is mo share live on SBTV Africa. Me lawyer Wisdom Akao Wiseman solicitors. And I will bet me the questions. What questions be obese obisa na the oka any nyina na obet me ebisa no. And other matters so bet me the about later. And lawyer obet me akọ ahead with main the obesa oka no.
Okay. Now, what we said last week, Mika said there's going to be a huge increment in the application fees.
Yes.
Now, Nipa Bebrensu was the 10-year route. So, if you were 10 year, if about 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 10 years, and some of them are indefinite. So, I want to advise which category of people can switch from the 10 years to the 5 years, so that when you switch, you save yourself time and you save yourself money. Right now, you pay £1,048 for the home office fee. They pay IHS of £1,560. Open in the same day, you pay additional £800. Now the total is £3,408. Now I'm saying, almost the system there, even if you apply for the same day, now you have been taken off the same day, so they want to look into your application again. I have to say, almost being said, a lot of people are just applying quickly so that the decisions are coming quicker. I don't think to say they are putting some brakes on that. They want to go and look into your application again. They'll refund your money to you. They'll refund the £800 to you. But they want to go and look clearly and carefully at the application to see, sir, so that is what it is. But if you want a super priority application, you are talking about £3,408. If you want a standard application, you are talking about £2,608. You have to pay this 4 times. 4 times. So 2,600 times 4. If you have to do or extend the application for 4 times, let me just do a quick calculation and see what that will be. Maybe I can give somebody a total of what it will be. So if standard application £2,604, 2,608, I'm sorry, 2,608 times 4. That is £10,432. That is on 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. £10,432 to be on the normal route to getting your indefinite leave to remain. But if you want to do the quick one, the super priority, then let's look at 3,608 times 4. That is 14,432 pounds. That is for you to be on the super priority, the quick route in the soup. Now, this money can do a lot for you if you switch. Half of this money can do a lot if you switch. Even a quarter of this money can do a lot if you switch. But if you don't switch, it means you have to either pay the £10,432 or you pay the £14,432. If I happen to be in that position, I would rather switch. I don't see why I should be wasting money if I can switch to the short route rather than to be on the long route. I'll save money and I'll save time. So instead of being here on 10 years, I'll be here on 5 years plus, and then I'll go for my indefinite leave to remain. So who can switch? One, those who are on the 10-year partner route. If you are on the 10 years partner route, maybe you married, you have a child, and you've been put on the 10-year partner route, you have to apply for 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5. 10 years. If you are on that 10-year partner route, you can switch to the 5-year partner route, provided your partner has settlement or they are British citizen. You can switch to the 5-year partner route and not remain on the 10-year partner route. So number one, if you are on the 10-year partner route, you can switch to the 5 years partner route. 10 years partner to 5-year partner. Don't waste time, don't waste money. Don't waste time and don't waste money. Switch to the 5-year route. Number two, the second category of people who can switch from the 10-year route are people who are on the 10-year parent route. 10-year parent route. So we are talking about 10-year partner and then 10-year parent. 10-year parent route. You can switch to 5-year parent route. 10-year parent route to 5-year parent route. You also can switch. You need to meet some requirements. I'll come to that later. So what 10-year parent route means, you can switch to 5-year parent route. You have a child and your application is based on your child, you can switch to that route. Category 3 of people who can switch. If you are on the private life, 10 years private life route, 10 years private life route, because you have been in the UK for maybe 20 years or more, and you have been given the 2.5 years, and they put you on a 10-year route, you can switch to the 5-year partner route or to the 5-year parent route. How do you do that? Now, assuming, I'm using myself as an example, assuming I was in the UK for 20 years and I have been given 2.5 years, and during that time, I now marry. Should I marry? Or if I get married and my partner is a British citizen or my partner has indefinite leave to remain, I can make another application to switch from the 10-year private life to the 5-year partner routes. 10-year private life to 5-year partner routes under Appendix FM Section LTRP of the Immigration Rules. So you switch from Appendix PL to Appendix FM Section LTRP of the part of the Immigration Rules. Then you'll be put on the 5-year parent partner route. Or if after you've gotten your 2.5 years as a person who has been here for long and on the basis of the long residence, you got your 2.5 years, and you then have a child. If your name, you can name a child that this is your child, and you can have all the requisite documents. Your child is a British citizen, or your child has indefinite leave, or your child is an EU national. You can base your application on your child to switch from the 10-year private life to 5 years parent route. 10 years private life to 5 years parent route. You can also switch to that category. It saves time, it saves money. From 10 years, you cut it into two, is 5 years. It saves time, it saves money. It saves you time and it saves you money. So if you can, please switch. Another category of people who can switch are if you're a student and you are in a genuine relationship with a person who has indefinite leave to remain, or a person who is a British citizen. You can also switch from the student route, no matter how short it is, to the parent or the partner route. If you're a student and you have a partner and the partner is a British citizen, you marry, you can of course switch from the student route to the paid partner route or to the parent route. Again, under the appendix FM. So you are switching from the appendix student to the partner route or to the parent route. So that can also be done. Another category of people who can switch are if you are a child, if you have a child and your child is on the 2.5 years, 2.5 years, you have a child, the child is on 2.5 years, and you have to extend for 2.5 years, 2.5 years, 2.5 years, for 10 years before they get their indefinite. Once you can prove that the child, if the child was born in the UK and they have lived here for, let's say, 10 years, you do not have to go for another 2.5 years. Don't waste money. Let me say it again. Assuming your child is 5 years, or your child was 5 years, you got 2.5 years for the child, and the child is now 7.5 years. If you are not going to travel with the child, you are not going to go on holiday with the child, there is no need to go and extend that visa for the child, because once the child turns 10 years, you can then switch the child to the British citizenship rather than going for another 2.5 years, which would be a waste of money. Waste of money. So I would say if your child is nearing the 10 years, there is no point to switch that child to 2.5 route to the 5 year route. There is no point to switch that child to the 5 year route if the child was born here and they are nearing 10 years. Even if they have 2.5 years, don't waste the money. Keep the money. Keep the money. £2,600 can do a lot of things for you. You can use half of that to apply for the child's British citizenship if they turn 10 years old. But that only happens if you are not going to travel with the child. If you are going to travel with the child, then of course you need to apply for the child as well. And I also said the child has to be born in the UK. So that application can be made under the British Nationality Act, Section 1(4) of the British Nationality Act of 1981. So that is that aspect. Another category of people who can switch where, or that can move to another section, is where the parents have limited leave to remain, and then maybe one of them becomes settled or one gets indefinite leave to remain. You don't have to wait until the child's visa expires or leave expires. You don't also have to go for extension. What you need to do is just apply for registration for the child, and the child will be granted the citizenship of the United Kingdom. And then you, who is the parent, you can also then make your application based on your child who has been granted citizenship in the UK. So that is what it is. So these are the categories of people who can switch from 2.5, 10-year route to 5-year route, or straight to British citizenship, so that you don't have to waste money or waste the child's time. Now, what documents would you need to switch? What documents would you need to switch? I'll just give you a brief list of the documents that you need to switch. You will need your passport. Very important. Very, very important. You need your passport. Either it is expired or valid, you still need to prove your identity. Now, if it is expired, there is a different box you have to tick. You have to tick before you can go on to the next stage. If it is expired, there is a different box you have to tick. If it is not expired, make sure you enter the details there. And you will need your biometric residence permit if you have one. You either need your valid passport, or even if it is expired, you need that passport, and then you need your biometric permit. And then you need your bank statements for a certain duration or certain period. You need bank statement for a certain period to support your application. Then you would also need your pay slips to make that application. Then, if you are self-employed, it's not everybody who is employed. Some people are self-employed. If you are self-employed, you need to provide some documents that will show that you are a self-employed person and you can meet the financial requirement or the maintenance requirement so that you don't have to go for benefits. So that is what it is. People who cannot switch are people who are taking benefit. If you are taking benefit, you cannot switch. So what you benefits are want to mean switch because a binding a air wow, and you need to show that ubet me after ma I won't go a buying sicker. And it's a would you buying sicker and they would 10 years no ubet na society you get your indefinite leave after the 10 years. Don't wait, don't waste money to switch to the 5 years if you are taking benefit. Unless you want to come off the benefit and then you can apply to switch. But once you switch, you cannot take benefits. If you go for the benefit or you apply to remove the condition, they put you back on the 10-year route. So the documents, I'll go back to the documents. You would need your passport, you need your biometric residence permit, you will need your bank statements, you need your wage slips or your pay slips. You need a letter from your employer to show that you are actually working and you earn X amount of money. Self-employed. If you are self-employed, you need the following documents: evidence of the amount of tax payable, paid and unpaid for the last full financial year. You need to show that you have evidence to prove that you have paid your taxes. So evidence of the amount of tax you pay. That is number one. Number two, you have to provide your self-assessment to the Home Office to show that yes, you earn enough money to look after yourself and your child or your children without going for any benefit or going to the state to help you look after your children. They don't want you to become a burden on them. So if you claim that you are working or you are self-employed, provide the evidence. So that is it. Self-assessment, tax return to HMRC, a copy or print out. So that is what you have to provide. The statement of account, if you are self-employed, what I'm saying is for self-employed people. Evidence of the amount of tax you paid, your self-assessment, statement of account. If you have a statement of account, you need to provide it. Proof of registration with HMRC as self-employed. You have to prove that you are registered with HMRC as a self-employed person, and you have to use that as evidence to show that you are able to look after yourself and look after your child or your children without going for benefit. The next thing is you need to show unique tax reference number, your UTR, and UTR of the partnership if it is a business. You need to show your UTR, unique tax reference number, that you are registered to pay tax. UTR, you need to show that. You need to show that in addition to the evidence that you are going to provide if you are a self-employed person. This is not for the employed people, but this is for self-employed persons. And also, number 6, you need to provide your personal bank statement for 12 months. Provide your personal bank statement for 12 months. Now, if you are a self-employed, it's 12 months bank statement. If you are employed, it's 6 months bank statement. So that is what it is. And also, you need to show that the monies you are receiving is paid into that account. It's not just an empty account, but an account into which monies are being paid as a self-employed person. Now, once that happens, then you stand a very good chance of being granted, provided you meet all the other requirements that go with this application. Now, another thing you need is you need a letter from your accountants of the business is not that the business if the business is not registered or is not required to produce audited accounts, unaudited accounts, etc., etc., etc. So that is what it is. That is what it is. That is what it is. DJ, so all in all, that is the requirement for people who are on the self-employment. If you're an employee, I've mentioned the list already: pay slips, bank statements. Of course, you need to provide your letter from your employer as well, which has to state the amount of money you earn, etc., etc., etc. You have to provide all of that. If you can provide that, then of course you can prove that you meet the requirements. English language requirement is also required. English is also required. You can use that also to prove level A2 or A1. A2 in this case, not A1. DJ, if you are there, let me give you 1 minute and give me a minute, please.
Okay, guys. Mufanche in technical problem kakra bi ntiama yete koye. In technical problem kakra bi wa anti yete koye mufanche lawyer wisdom aka Wiseman solicitors na me no o show no so no obesa aba back sisi ametwen lawyer wisdom aka o. Na ye kasa mu from questions nembra me hu se bi mu comment sections no comment section no mo type it but questions no enough. More questions bi am pesa mu bisa na mu fambra. Mufanche nti aba back bi my live on Facebook na live on your YouTube channel SBTV Africa. You go straight na me Wiseman solicitors lawyer wisdom akao. Lawyer, sorry, in your technical problem kakra bi wa anti onim say the Amukanche, the back into betting to ask a quick one.
Yo, but that's it. I'm saying now make us about the documents now. Obi Ben here said, who person switch it from the 10 years, ako 5 years, Nesua. Documents now Ben here no. Me bo,
Okay.
omo yet self-employed for no. Some self-employed for me bo, omo list Nesu. Me see over here evidence of the amount of tax I which here to the HMRC. Over here, your self-assessment, why yeah. And who accountant be amount. And over here, statement of account, SA 300 or SA 302. And also over here, proof of registration with the HMRC. I just said when they register a Juma as a self-employed person. Over here, your bank statement for 12 months period. So we are self-employed. You need 12 months bank statement. We are employee. You need 6 months bank statement. And you also need a letter from your employer to show that that they are your accountants. Sorry, not employer. You need a letter from your accountant. I'm sorry, to show that they are your accountants and they are qualified accountants to practice in the UK. And also, you need evidence of self-employment through evidence of payment of Class 2 national insurance contribution. So you're not only paying your taxes, but you're also paying your national insurance as well, NI. So these are the things we'll be making here. So we are self-employed. Now, person will switch it from the 10-year route to 5-year route this one. You will need this as a self-employed person. Now, sir, we are employee. There are two ways. But you can meet the financial requirement, and the other one is you meet the maintenance requirement. The financial requirement is totally different from the maintenance requirement. How do you meet them? The financial requirement is you have to be working, you have to be with that employer for at least more than 6 months, and you have to show that you earn more than £18,600 a year, at least 18,600 a year, £18,600 a year. If there is a child involved, you have to add £3,800 to it. So 18,600 if you're a partner. If there is a child involved, additional 3,800, and that makes you 22,400. I guess to meet the financial requirement. Again, pay slips, bank statement, letter from your employer, P60. You add all of those to the documents that you need to provide. But if your application is switching to the parent route, say a parent route now, you do not have to meet the 18,600, but you have to meet the maintenance requirement. We have financial requirement and we have the maintenance requirement. The maintenance requirement, the calculation is different, and not totally different. It is not the 18,600. You have to use the case law of Uvovo, the case of Uvovo, which talks about the income support level. And the income support level has a threshold that people who are receiving income support will get. So, if you're a single parent, you need to meet a requirement which is about £84 plus a week. That is for your maintenance, about 84, 80 or so, 84 plus a week. So let's just say £85 a week. You multiply that by the number of weeks, 4 weeks, you get the total. And then you go to your child. If you are based on one child, you have to find out how much you need to meet for the child maintenance, for the income support level for a child. What the law says currently, I think it's around £77, a little on top of that. You multiply that by 4 weeks. So if you're a single parent, it is £84, 80p a week times 4 weeks gives you the total. If you have a child, it is £77 times 4 weeks. That gives you the total. If you have 2 children, you have to multiply 77 by 2 by 4. If you have 3 children, it is 77 by 3 by 4 to get a total. So you add your level of requirement, financial maintenance requirement, to the children's level of maintenance requirement. Once you finish that, then you have to add your rent. How much is your rent? So if your rent is, let's say, £500, you add it to the total of yours plus your child's. And also you have to add your council tax. If you pay council tax, you have to add that on top of it before you strike the sum. That determines whether you meet the maintenance requirement. If you do not meet the maintenance requirement and the other requirements in terms of the English language, the documentations, the specified evidence, your application will be refused. You will not meet the requirements under the 5-year route, and if you apply, it will be refused. Recently, we made application for a gentleman. The other ones were successful, but his own was refused. The Home Office put him back on the 10-year route. So we sat back, assessed everything, and said, no, this is wrong. So we wrote back to the Home Office and said, the gentleman meets all the requirements, the financial requirement, immigration status requirements, the English language requirement, and therefore it is wrong for you to put him back on the 10-year route. After a couple of weeks, the Home Office wrote back to us to say they are sorry, so that he should have been put on the 5-year route, and therefore they have issued him another letter putting him on the 5-year route, no more on the 10-year route. They get it wrong sometimes. So if you do not understand exactly what is required and exactly the laws to apply, or exactly the laws to use, and they put you back on the 10-year route, then of course you have done yourself not a lot of good. That is why it is important to let somebody who understands the figures, who understands what you should bring, what you should provide, to look at it for you before you submit it, if you wish to submit it yourself. Then you can of course be switched from the 10 years to the 5-year route. So this is what it is. This is what it is. Rather than remaining on the 10-year route and be spending and wasting money and time, I would advise everybody who is eligible to switch from the 10 years to the 5-year. You save yourself 5 years, or maybe 4 years, or maybe 3 years, and also you save yourself a lot of money. You save yourself some thousands of pounds rather than remaining on that and just giving it out for nothing. If you've already done 5 years, then there is no need to switch. Let me say it again. So when you're 5 years already, and yet there is no need to switch because you will still do another 5 years. And to year, to as soon as you with 2.5 years now on the 10-year route. When you're 5 years already, men switch it is waste of time and waste of money. Just carry on with your normal 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. But almost indefinite no, almost 2.5 years no say when you're indefinite and now, 6 months, 7 months, come back, and we will switch you from the 10 years to the 5-year route, so that after 5 years you can get your indefinite leave to remain. DJ, I will leave it here. If there are some questions, I will answer. If there are no questions, then I will say, have a good weekend. Thank you very much. DJ, over to you. Mr. Asamoah, hello. After winning an appeal case, how long does it take for visa to be issued after making resubmission of passport or police? Does it also take 6 months for visa to be issued? Ideally, I'll be honest with you. After you won your appeal, and the Home Office asks you to submit your passport, I am sure in Ghana, if they ask you to submit your passport in Ghana, you have to let your lawyer write to them for implementation. There are case laws that enjoin or that impress on the Home Office to issue the visa as soon as possible. And yes, sir, who the to one shall not a check. Usually, and check 2 months, but maybe 1 to 3 months. 6 months, they're not a year or too much. 1 to 3 months, no, a year, they issue it within that period. 6 months, a year, now, it's going a bit too far. And to Saudi Arabia, this 6 months, I would ask you, so one I would call here, any churowam to expedite the implementation. A lawyer and the call here, any Mr. A dear what churowam, but sign a reminder in the bill, set on sending on another reminder, now they can implement the this appeal decision. Na nipa na kɔgye ne passport na wɔtumi aba ekurom ha. Also, please, if you can, go to the Movenpick Hotel. Minim obi a ne deɛ aba a ɔmo de ato hɔ saa ama ne visa na ewu. Ɔmo de to hɔ saa ɔmo amfrɛ no ama ne visa ne wu yi. Ansa na ɔkɔ check here no na visa no won't see. We had to make another application for the person to come to the UK. They didn't have to pay the full fee anyway because we made them understand that you caused the error. You didn't send the lawyer any email. You didn't call the client. You had the lawyer's number. You had the lawyer's email. You had the lawyer's telephone details. You didn't call. You didn't email. You didn't call the client. You didn't email the client. And therefore, they had to reinstate or they have to reissue another big net. And so nipa no ever promo. And it's so pair. Ma wo nipa no enko Ghana ho enko bisa se aba na onfa receipt ni enko na oteme ehun se aba ana emai at least no what aba no waji na ade no aba nya sa wan hwa ebeda ho sa na visa no asan ewo. My husband is EU and I received my spousal visa just last week. That is JRKB. I want to come to UK in September. Can I do my application or the changes will affect me? Well, if your husband is an EU national and you've received your visa, normally you are given 6 months. You say, I want to come to the UK in September. Can I do my application or the changes will affect? No, the changes will not affect you. EU nationals are not being affected by anything in terms of the bringing the partners. No, EU nationals and their family members are not affected. So you don't have any problem with that at all. So you can come in September as long as you are within the 6 months of the EU family permit that has been EUSS family permit that has been issued to you. Hi, Kobe. Everything about any form of UK visa seems complex. 18,000 a year being as an employee. Please, lawyer, regarding the money, is there any backdoor to that? Well, there is no backdoor. There is no backdoor. You said 18,000. It is 18,600. 600 can why? Kobe. There is no backdoor. However, there are certain instances where Senepano and to me enter the fee. They don't meet the financial threshold, but they have a child involved. Maybe there is a partner here, or there is a partner with a child in the UK, and the person outside or the person inside doesn't meet the financial requirement. They can put you on the 10-year route. They can put you on the 10-year route and not on the 5-year route. So yes, but you have to show that there is an exceptional circumstance, or there are exceptional circumstances why you cannot meet that requirement. In that case, they will put you on the 10-year route. What form to use for 10-year route? Okay, somebody is asking, Emmanuel is asking, what form do you use for the 10-year? It is not the form per se, it is the law that determines whether you go on the 10 years or you go on the 5 years. The form is FLRFP. FLRFP. F for father, L for Lima, R for Romeo, into bracket, F for father, P for papa. FLRFP. You can use the same form for the 5 years. You can use the same form for the 10 years. Like I said, it is not the form that determines the route on which you are. It is the law that you apply under that determines whether you go on the 5 years or the 10 years. But if you are on the partner route, the marriage route, then you don't use the FLRFP, you use the FLRM. M stands for marriage. FLRM. If you are on the partner route, you can use the FLRM for that application. Hi, Kubi Isaac. Do you people need to earn know how much a month before applying to bring kids from Ghana? No. EU nationals do not have to show any threshold of earning to bring their partner or their children to the UK. As long as they are in the UK, they have presence in the UK. Previously, we used to say you have to be exercising your treaty right. Once they can prove presence in the UK, they are able to bring their partner. There is no threshold for them. There is whether it is 15,000, 10,000, 5,000, 4,000, 6,000, anything, they are able to bring their partner to the UK and their children to the UK without having to meet any financial threshold as people in or operating under the immigration rules. Hello, Nana Yabua. You are in South Africa. Hello, has a working permit here. How can I get working permit to work in the UK? All right, thank you. Last week, a gentleman called me from South Africa. Similar question. Very gentleman, very nice gentleman, and I had to respond to that. Now, if you want to come to the UK to work, what you need to do is you have to search for an employer because the purpose is to work. So you need an employer who will give you the certificate of sponsorship that yes, I have a job. The position you are coming to occupy, there is nobody, I haven't gotten anybody to come and do or to work in that sector. And because of that, I have recruited you to come and work in that section. So they issue you COS, which I would normally call a letter of employment. It's like contract of employment, COS. With that, you are then able to apply for your visa to come to the UK. If you don't get an employer, it becomes almost impossible to come to the UK to work here. So please look for an employer. Unfortunately, I don't have contact with the employers. So if you can do your own research, maybe you have a family in the UK who can help you do that research, that will be very, very helpful. Make sure the employer has the sponsorship license with the Home Office before you put yourself into their hands to apply for the COS for you. And then we have Kojo Ewusi. I am on the student visa. Could you complete the school but could not complete could not complete the school but could not switch to skilled worker visa due to the current immigration law on students, and my dependent was also refused visa. What is the way forward for the student since I am still in the UK and my student visa expires next year, February? Right. This has become a very common scenario we are facing now. Now, if you didn't go to school and your visa is due to expire February, it means that the Home Office, the university, they have not informed the Home Office that you haven't attended. So your visa is still valid. Now, if that is the case, unfortunately, you can't switch to the skilled worker route. Then you may have to come and sit down with us or sit down with the lawyer to brainstorm to see other possible options. There may be some options, but I wouldn't be too comfortable discussing it over this platform. Maybe you come, we sit down, we explore all the possible options to see if you can switch from one area to another, and your dependent also may also be able to switch from one to another depending on the circumstances or the change in circumstances. Okay. Hello, Nana or Nana. If I am a student and my certificate of sponsorship was given to me before the 17th of July, can I go ahead and do my visa application? Of course, you can go ahead and certificate of sponsorship. No, unfortunately, because the application is going to be after the 17th of July, you will not be eligible to apply. Unfortunately, I misread it as CAS. But certificate of sponsorship, even if it was issued before the 17th, but you didn't put in the application before the 17th, unfortunately, you cannot switch now. If you had put in the application, then you would have been covered before the change of the law. I'm sorry. Conrad Boachi, does the Home Office consider only the fifth year's financial requirement for a skilled worker? when applying for indefinite leave to remain? I am not too certain about this. I'm not too certain because, of course, this skilled worker thing has been around for some time, but with this trend of the volume of work that is coming in by virtue of the health and care skilled workers, nobody has or is yet due to renew to extend after 2 years or 3 years, as far as I'm aware. So we are not too sure whether they want you to prove that you need to provide proof of working throughout your pay slips, bank statement, letter from the employer for the whole of the period before you apply for indefinite leave, or once you can prove that you've been in the UK for 5 years, you'll be able to apply for indefinite leave. I may want to look into this for you. So send me the message on my text message or WhatsApp, and call me, remind me. I'll look into it for next week. I may be able to give you some response. Can a dependent switch to skilled worker visa and the main student become his dependent? Yes, they've tried to block all of these routes. They are foreseen that dependent can switch, the student switch to, which is what was the case, which is what applications were being made. They've tried to block all of that for dependents and the students to from switching. Unfortunately, they have tried to block the route. So this is what it says: student routes changes dependent on switching. Student route changes dependence and switching. It says, let me just read what it says. Changes relating to the student route and consequential changes to work routes. In this statement, this will come into effect on the 5th on the 17th of July 2023 at 3 p.m. So the government has made it that no changes. It says, this is what it says: removing the right of international students to bring dependents unless they are postgraduate, and ability of international students, to switch out of the student route into work route before they finish their course. And it says these changes preserve the ability of dependents already in the UK to extend their stay, and for international students on taught programs. So yes, it is pretty not very clear here as to whether the dependents can switch. Very good question. But it is going to be a 50-50 chance. So maybe the dependent may switch and then the student become a dependent. That could be a possibility. It doesn't clearly state here that dependents cannot switch. It says switching, consequential switching for international students, dependents. For dependents already in the UK, yes, but it doesn't clearly state. I'll look into this, and I think next week, call me, text me, send me. I'll find out if dependent can switch, and subsequently the student can also switch to become a dependent, which is what the case used to be. After arriving in the UK, how long does it take for your PR to be given to you? Please, after getting the PR, can I come back to complete my degree at Legon? I'll be completing next year, June. After arriving in the UK, with what visa? I need to know what visa or what leave you have that you were given the permanent, the residence card or the residence permit. So I need to know if you can, Mr. Samuel, if you can let me know. If it is spousal, then of course I can advise. If it is on any other route, I need to know. Please give me a little more information. I'll be more than happy to assist you. Now, JRKB, if your pre-settlement expires in 2024, do you have to apply for settlement, or you should wait for automatic renewal from the Home Office? The Home Office do not give automatic renewals. You have to apply for the extension of your pre-settled status to indefinite leave to remain. So the Home Office will not give you automatic extension. So please bear that in mind. When or if your visa, your pre-settlement is about to expire, you have to put in the application and let them understand you're applying for indefinite, and then they will issue you provided you meet all the requirements. They do not give automatic extension. Patrick, hi. I want to know if Ghanaians in the UK without have any hope. If Ghanaians in the UK without Nkrata have any hope. Please mix your submissions with local language. Let's go. Local language, no, bro. What's you? Yeah. Yes. So, oh, you're Ghana ni na wo krom ha. Na se wo ni asit na. Akwanya wɔ hɔ sɛ wobɛtumi anya asetena. Ɛkwan wɔ hɔ a wobɛtumi afa so anya asetena. Ɔmo ntumi ntom ɛkwan no nyinaa mu, nti ɛkwan deɛ ebi wɔ hɔ. Nanso ɛnyɛ nyinaa nso na yɛbɛtumi aka ɛwɔ afidie so. Ɛno nti na yɛse ɛha yɛ kwan ho, nti woanhwɛ a na yɛakɔka biribi a na ɛnsɛ sɛ yɛka. Nti sɛ wo ne wo lawyer anaa wobɛho yɛn ne yɛtena ase ne yɛbisa sɛ anaa onipa bi a wɔ ha ɔba ne ɔne yɛn tena ase a ne yɛaka sɛ wɔ ha deɛ wode fa ha ɛbɛha adwen woyɛ a ɛbɛha adwen nti yɛwei se mɛmfa fa ha fafa ha na ama ɛkwan aba ho nti saa na ɛteɛ ɛkwan ɛwɔ hɔ there is hope but ɛna meka no sɛ yɛntumi ɛnka ne nyinaa ɛwɔ afidie wei so na yɛntumi ɛnka nyinaa meda ase nti sɛ obi hia mmoa bibi saa a ɔmmra ɔmfrɛ yɛn ɔmboki ɔmmra ne yɛntena ase na yɛnkyerɛ ɛkwan a ɛwɔ hɔ Mr. Asamoah, yes, or the further information about. Or see, my father is an EU citizen and he filed for me. And so you have your PRM, so that is permanent residence. Yes. So permanent residence issued under GUSS. Let me say it again. If you have indefinite leave to remain, which is issued or was issued under the GUSS, it lapses if you are out of the UK for 5 years. It lapses. It becomes invalid if you are out of the UK for 5 years. Anybody else on indefinite leave to remain under any other category, that lapses if you are out for 2 years. So in this case, if you are in Legon and you have your indefinite leave under the GUSS and upesa will echo course now. Mimeka say wukwa mendi more than busumi ensia sambra bendam kakra 1 or 2 weeks and sanwa sanko triaso uwe course na no wetimi aba fully. And you have to have reason nti awuko eba no. And say untime nya wo course no saa ebia why saa the final year. And yes, over Jaw course no sir, because when you're permanent resident and now you're indefinite lente. A bay yes over but you card no Kotrasuka school wako because a manama who can say ABA because of medical treatment, because of childbirth, and because of education. And don't to wait me pay, but me ako real course no now sign Abba Trasu Ewaha. Thank you. Paul Owusu a champion. Thank you very much, too. If one joins a family member with a EU pre-settled visa and applies for EU settlement and issues with the share code, can I work without the BRC or COA? The employer would want to see the card. Usually, on these days, they ask for the share code. But they want to see the card as well to show that you have the right to be in the UK so that they can make copies and keep on their file. They make a copy and keep on their file, and then you generate the share code for them. That helps them to know that, yes, you have the right to work in the UK. So, yes, get the card, use the card, plus the share code to work. Some employers are okay, some employers are not too difficult. You gave them the share code, they are okay with it. Some employers will insist on seeing your card, your passport, and possibly getting the share code before you. So it's down to the individual employer as to what they want. I hope you meet a good one who may be able to help you. Nana Osebonsu Bempa, hello, mister. What about the dependent if you want an extension? Dependent want an extension on what basis? If the dependent on which is it a student dependent tier 2 dependents, they want extension. Please give me a little more insight, and I may be able to assist you in responding to that question. DJ Mintio.
Oh, sorry. Motorinka.
Yes.
Yes. Lawyer Wisdom Akao Wiseman Solicitors or Binfu or your Binfu champion man. Oh, the question be office or bit me be a fabra. Oh, where am I? The contact music no be it also here contact number and the whole screen so no. But take it before I sign it out I want say okay lawyer take you answer.
Hello, Prince Akwesi Amwating. My brother is having 5 years work permit at UK as a carer. Will it be possible to bring me too, as a new graduate from the university, to settle with him there as a dependent and get work? Unfortunately, he is not able to bring you. They can only bring their partners as children, but he's your brother. So in this case, I'm sorry, but he cannot assist you in bringing you to be with him. I'm sorry.
Okay, so somebody waits also.
And it was issued under the UUSS. Yes. So if you are the student, and you want to go back to study, of course, it was issued under UUSS. You can go and complete, of course, but make sure you are in and out. You don't go out for more than 6 months. I would advise you can go for a year, but I would advise go for 6 months, pop in, and then maybe go finish the course, and then you can always come back to finish your stay in. I am a student dependent. My wife is still a student, and I want to switch. Since she can't switch for now, can you help me? Yes, if you are the student dependent, and your wife, obviously your wife cannot switch now, and you want to switch, well, talk to the employer, see if they will give you the COS, and then possibly, if you as a dependent you are not affected, that you can switch to the health and care route. So, but your wife obviously cannot switch because of the changes that they brought in now. It's not very clear here. It says removing the ability of international students to switch out of the student route into work routes before their studies have been completed. That is what it says. It says students, but it doesn't say and dependents. And then it goes on to say these changes preserve the ability for the dependents already in the UK to extend their stay. Oh, okay. So this is what it says. These changes preserve the ability for the dependents already in the UK to extend their stay, and for the international students on top postgraduate beginning before January to bring dependents. It means that because you who is a student cannot switch, it helps your dependent to extend their stay. So they are protecting the dependent as well. But what they haven't said here is that the dependent cannot switch. They haven't said the dependent cannot switch. So we need to go back to the law, read it from top to bottom and from the bottom to the top, and see if there is any place there, if there's any gray area that the dependents can use to switch. But as it stands, it says the students so that the dependents can extend their stay. So I will take a look at that as to whether dependent can switch and students switch to the dependents as well. I'll look into that, and I hope to update you next week when we come. I have an appointment with you on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Hope to see you personally. Kojo Ewusi, hope to see you too. I can't wait to see you. I'm looking forward to meeting you.
Okay, so Mamu pe no man lawyer ni numbers no and the whole screen so no. Lawyer Wisdom Akao Wiseman Solicitors or London. Lawyer for address ni to Jana time aso na signing out na postcode ni ade e mo mpese mo contact so no man na me there to screen so.
All right, Nana, thank you. DJ, thank you so much. And then to Eviana, Eviana, what done I find? Just a month for Germany, Also,
yes, summer this time, in Suruto,
a typical British summer, and funny star. We can have
yes, party barbecue. I see what I
It's not
it's only about 5-10 minutes. That's it.
we are used to it. We are used to it. So I'm sorry. You are Wise Master Solicitors, Suite 8 to 9, the Print House, 18 to 22, Ashwin Street. 8 to 9, the Print House, 18 to 22, Ashwin Street. The Ashwin is ASHWIN, Ashwin Street. Print House. Obi, Esi, Ehania printing visa na. We say no, that is the name of the building. It's not the printing house. So that's the name of the building. The Print House, Ashwin Street. 18 to 22 Ashwin Street. Postcode near E8 3DL. E8 3DL. E8 3DL. Telephone numbers no. Mobile number here 079 31 411 042. And your mobile number 079 31 411 042. That is on the screen. And the office number is 0208 0165 384 0208 0165 384. Yeah, we're Dalston Junction behind the McDonald's. We are very close to the Dalston Market. So when them Dalston Market in Kwandia and yeah, we home your office ha. We call Dalston Market ho na ubisa any of the Ghanaian traders the stores both say Money Matters, Ajua, and all Adum. If you ask them, Muhammad, all of them, you ask them about Wise Smart Solicitors, Lawyer Wisdom, Lawyer Francis, Lawyer Nanamua, Lawyer Rosemary, they will direct you to the office to see us. Thank you. It's a pleasure always to be of service to my people. God bless you. Edamasi. More questions, send them to DJ Nyame, the only man who has. I want to book you and make payment, but I want to have my conversation on phone, please. Yeah, that is possible because a minimum of some people are not even in the UK. People call from Ghana. We do telephone consultation by WhatsApp, or we do video call. We do that as well. So please call 0208 0165 384. Call us on Monday or call me on 079 31411042. We can schedule a time for the consultation over the phone or over the WhatsApp video conference. And I believe the same information you will get coming over, you get the same information from your end as well. Thank you, DJ. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Lawyer Wisdom Akao, thank you so much. Inti morning every Fridays be an hour from 5:30 to 7. So I'll be joining and we will making sure say I'll be share link, or share or YouTuber tap on the subscribe and share link in the morning be WhatsApp. So and I say Facebook and our status and I be sabeboa and our Facebook so bet me I share following our Facebook so SBTV Africa. Lawyer, me da say akbe Lawyer Wisdom Akao every Fridays be amene from 5:30 Ghana time GMT to 7 into channel so our questions are baby san obi ya no further way dey obetimi afre no but my some share SBTV Africa onim say program ne dey ye de bremo say na be boa mo am pese mutu kwan mo akwantu mu so be udu baby na ho akyerewa unya lawyer obi kwa ka chem say utu kwan a na o hwe na o nyama ye so unya lawyer so odu airport ni ade na e bese yetete wa o free lawyer na e so ba na obedwatwaje wo na yes ade a tiate anti lawyer de o hia bi meda o mo share SBTV Africa ne live no meda o ma say Godfrey Apraku Bonsu meda so share Prince Akwesi Amuate meda say Solomon Kwe meda so share Kojo Ewusi, thank you Patrick Nana Owusu Bonsu Bimpe me that so share Asamoah, thank you so much Prince Akwesi Amwating, Thank you so much. Paul Uso Champon, me da say. Safa Sheku Karim, me da say. JLKB, me da say. Nana Yeboah, me da say. Conrad Abuachi, me da say. Kubi Isaac, thank you so much. Emmanuel Okwasi, thank you so much. Kobe, me da say. Nana, me da say. Patrick, me da say. Kojo Ewusi, me da say. Melinda Jacobs, thank you so much. Nana, me da say. Prince Sogbo, me da say. John Ige, me da say. Thank you so much, guys. Nana K, me da say. Ferrigo, Tenny, me da so much. Thank you. See, big ups, DJ Nyami, great jobs. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Me da say. Some share SBTV Africa videos in the end. Sisi amino kase ya drop it 3. Abrante na enra mene indin komono. Ya the part 2 ni ba ya no pa we. Ya drop it 2 more videos, hot ones pa. Me kasa we ya nso last one beba 7 p.m. we are pa. We ya na another hot interview. Inti madam say most subscribe ya obenya notification. Obesu nyama bebre film ko 4 stories. Nyama ma film Papa mo boni mo share with us. So person buy show ni so bia they watch me videos now but my numbers was so +2332447909002 and I say +233240677 898 FM DJ Nyame. We share mo kroma ka say 2 na ma just 2 I made am say mo share SBTV Africa. More videos man you lose. 2.
What I like the most about Carline Auto Parts is that they don't just sell you an oil. They take their time to educate you on exactly what your car needs. And luckily, they told me about this amazing product for my car's transmission. Booster is the best transmission oil that you can find on the market. And take it from me. If you've ever had a transmission problem, you know exactly what it means to be in those shoes. So get the best product and save yourself the trouble. Call Carline Auto Parts here at East Legon. Call them at Dacoman and bro, get yours. My sister, get yours. Don't waste time.
Carline Auto Parts, your car solution.